Good evening, everyone. And this presentation has been created by Stephanie Cáceres, Donna Garcia, and Hayne MacDonald. This presentation can also be found in our website, which I will go ahead and show you guys where you can find it in this presentation. As well, this presentation should be in everyone's emails, as well as the submission for this. This presentation will be focusing on supporting at-risk students. And the link would be right here on top where it says Unit Plan, U.S. History. You can go ahead and click there. That will go straight to our website and you can have access to everything in this presentation. So moving on, this unit plan has been created for 11th graders. It's a U.S. history course being focused on creating an environment and providing the appropriate support for all students, but in specific, those who are at risk. We define an at-risk student, a student who is in the bridge of or already is failing the class. They are typically students who have very little support at home, if any, and these are the ones who require the most attention before they slip through our educational system. The goal is to provide the most and best for all the students to have the opportunity to be successful. For this unit plan, here are the Common Core standards. There is a variety of different ones. I can go ahead and read those out loud to you guys, or it would be best if I don't bore you guys and go ahead and see those down again in the link provided. Moving forth, there are a variety of different theories that we're using in our unit plan. In here, we would see that it is the psychology and cognition theory. The psychology and cognition theory will be applied by practice, written, verbal, and images, critical thinking, and provide knowledge. Cognitive development, according to Peggett, states that children learn through assimilation and accommodation. It is important for the teacher to look at the student's facial and body expression when presenting this lesson in order to organize signs of misunderstanding. Also, it is important to make sure that students understand the directions. In addition, meaningful learning occurs when knowledge stored in long-term memory is shifted to short-term memory to integrate new information into the mind. This will help our at-risk students hear the information again in order to build more information for future reference. Now moving forth to the next theory, which is the behaviorist theory. Watson describes behaviorism as a purely objective experimental branch of natural science. Its theoretical goal is the prediction and control of behavior. Introspection forms no essential part of its methods, nor is the scientific value of its data dependent on the readiness in which they lean themselves to interpret in terms of consciousness. The basic principles of behaviorism are often utilized to help children learn new skills and overcome maladaptive behaviors, which conditions is used in many situations ranging from parenting to education. Behaviorism could also be used within the classroom as students repeat constant drills and receive positive reactions from external or internal forces. These students' positive reactions, and consistency would ensure that students gain a strong understanding of the content. Constructivism and Peggitation theory. Peggett's theory has two forms: the process of coming to know and the stages we move through as gradually acquire this ability. Assimilation and accommodations are both used throughout the life as a person increasingly adapts to the environment in a more complex manner. Taking into account Peggett's work, educational needs vary from person to person, in our case, from student to student, depending on situations. and different circumstances on each child comes from. This is one of the leading factors that cause at risk students to become at risk students. There could be so much change going on in the student's life that they are not able to adapt fast enough as the rest of the students. This is where trial and error opportunities are needed to be given in the classroom for students to develop their understanding. In addition, they need for them to familiarize themselves into group work and group projects and have hands-on experiences. In Vygotsky's and Werner's theory, Vygotsky proposed that child development consists of children passing through a series of stable development that are interrupted by periods of crisis. For our unit plan, we plan on implementing Vygotsky's theory by taking into account the different phases a child has at certain points and how their social environment influences the students. Taking into account that all students are different and that crises may occur differently or at different age will help us understand our students better. We plan on incorporating one day to our lessons plans a check-in circle where students have the opportunity to bond and connect with a teacher. Brenner states that intellectual development is when students are capable at any stage of development to view and explain the reasoning a certain way. Students will be able to read and interpret these events in history at a high level. Because they are being provided the scaffolds and taught the skills to do so, students will understand more as to why they study history and why it's important to learn it. Moving forward to the learning and social cognitive theories, we have found that the social cognitive theories was created by Albert Bandura and follows the line of reasoning of classical conditioning and operant conditioning. However, social cognitive theory includes the concept that learning occurs between a stimulus and response, and that behavior is learned by observing one's environment. The instructor shares exceptional student writing with the class, seeing their classmates celebrating for wonderful work will serve as an additional model for those at risk students who traditionally might not have their work praised publicly. Additionally, seeing the positive reinforcements given to other students can motivate at risk students to aspire to that work. It has also been noted that the attitude and mannerisms of a teacher has a very large impact on success of their students in the class. Working in line with the social cognitive theory, the instructor within the classroom will need to model confidence and kindness with themselves and towards the students. This will be especially important for at-risk students who may have a previously a negative interaction with students or educators. Cognitive and metacognitive development theory. Mechanisms of cognitive development is a mental process that proves children's ability to process information. There are 5 different types, which are the neural mechanisms, associative, competition, encoding, analogy, and strategy decision choice. Besides being in the Common Core standards, it is essential for students to be disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and other evaluating information. The benefits of student being able to observe, reflect, experience, reason, and communicate is to make positive real life decisions and make no assumptions. All of this is not just guided towards for any student, but specifically at-risk students. In addition, we will be asking students to share their opinion as a class discussion. This will allow critical thinking. And lastly, the intelligence and creative theory. Intelligence is described as something that involves some different mental abilities, including logic, reasoning, problem solving, and planning, Many educators have had the experience of not being able to reach some students until presenting the information in a completely different way or providing new options for student expression. The eight kinds of intelligence Gardner describes are visual spectral intelligence, verbal linguistic intelligence, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, logical mathematical intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, musical intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, and lastly, naturalistic intelligence. By having these different principles of intelligence, we have incorporated a little in our unit plan. For example, in order to accommodate a visual and verbal learner, we can give the students a video to watch in order for them to visually see the lessons. Now here lastly I have the references in which we used to find all this information on the different theories in our presentation. We will be using them again, like we mentioned, in our unit plan for our U.S. history class, and we look forward to seeing your opinion on this.